This is part 2 of the Unit 1 review, numbers 5 through 10. First question is 3/4 divided by 7/10. If we multiply times the reciprocal, we get 30 over 28. You could have also cross-reduced this if you wanted to and got 2 times 5 is 10. And 2 times 2 is 4. The only reason for this shortcut is just to make you have simpler numbers. Both approaches, if reduced properly, will give you 1 1/14 as your final answer. The second question, or number 6, states a school has 374 students in 6th grade. Each science class can have at most 22 students. What is the minimum number of science classes needed? This is basically just a division problem, and all you would do is divide 22 into 374. If you divide 22 into 37, it goes in one time. Which, when I subtract, I get 100. I get 15, and then I bring down my 4, which leaves me with 154. And the closest number that I can estimate would be, maybe if I thought 20 times 7 would be 140, because 2 times 7 is 14. Well, I would want to try 22 times 7 and see if that gives me a number close to 154. 7 times 2 is 14, and 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 154. So 17 actually works out exactly evenly with no remainder left over. My final answer would be 17 science classes. Number 7 asks, there are 435 students in the 5th grade. Each student will receive an equal number of candy bars to sell. There are a total of 10,875 candy bars. How many candy bars will each student get to sell? Again, the word each stands out for this problem, which makes it division. I would definitely want to eliminate choice D because it is just a bigger number, and if I'm thinking I want a smaller number because it's division, that number doesn't make mathematical sense. I want to start estimating because I'm thinking 435 is a pretty large number to be divided into another large number. So if I know that 4 times 2 is 8, I know that 40 times 2 is 80, and 400 times 2 is 800. I would think that multiplying times 3 would be too big because that would give me 1200, and my number that I need to divide into would be 1087. I can't divide into 1, can't divide into 10, can't divide into 108, but I can divide into 1875. So 435 times 2 is 870. So I would subtract 870 from 1087. That gives me 217. I would need to bring down my 5 to see if I can divide into this number, and I actually can divide into it evenly. Again, I can divide into 2,175 evenly, and that number is 5 times. So that gives me 435 times 5 is 2,175 with no remainder left over. So the answer to my question is there are a total of 25 candy bars that each student will get to sell. Number 8 is also a division problem. It says during one day, 336 people rode a roller coaster. If 24 people can ride each trip, each being that keyword again, what is the least number of trips the coaster traveled? 24 will divide into 33 one time with 9 left over. If I bring down my 6, 24 will divide into 96 4 times. So the number of trips would be 14. So the next problem is 273 divided by 23. Make that 276 divided by 23. 23 will divide into 276. 23 will divide into 27 one time, and that gives me 23 with 4 left over, and I bring down my 6. 23 times 2 is 46, so my final answer is 12. The next problem says find the quotient of 320 divided by 16. Remember that a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So 16 times 2 is 32. Well, I have nothing but 0 left over, and if I divide 16 and 0, I get 20. So 20 is my final answer.